Well, hello and welcome to my channel. I'm John, and as usual we start with a cup of coffee from this nice mug from Birch.iv. If you're not familiar with the channel, please go and have a look. Once again, and this is a frequent event on my channel apparently, I have to excuse that I didn't upload for a while. I'm still having trouble with my teeth, and that sort of prevented me from doing some reviews that I wanted to do. But enough of that. Today we're going to have a look at a knife, and this is the Artisan Cutlery Littoral, and at the end of the video I'll just quickly inform you about what is going to happen in the next few days or the next uploads, so that you know what you can expect. First of all, the Artisan Littoral knife. Artisan Cutlery is no brand, and a new Chinese brand, of course, I almost say. One more, but they do some good work, and I saw a ton of videos from about them and from them on from Blade Show, which I'm about 10,000 kilometers away from, so of course I didn't participate, but I followed it and it was so interesting, and thanks a lot to the YouTubers who shared their experience with the rest of us all over the world. Well, back to the knife. Artisan Cutlery Littoral, and you will be able to read how that's spelled in the description, of course, because it's a bit difficult to pronounce, at least for me. It comes with a D2 blade. D2 is more or less becoming the go-to steel for what would you say, mid-range mid-range, high-range budget knives. And this definitely is D2 steel, because I already had it corrode a little bit, and that is what I don't like very much about D2 steel. But of course it is a bit more wear resistant set and finish, a drop point in this case. And we have this, I'll just go a bit closer, and we have the fuller, and as you might be able to see, this is a very sharp-edged fuller, and there's room there for a ton of dirt, I think. Not a good thing. I like fullers as a design feature, but please round them off a little bit so that you can actually clean out the dirt and gunk that comes in there. If you're going to use this for food prep, for instance, you'll be able to taste the food that you also used, cut 14 days ago perhaps. Otherwise you really have to do the knife along with the dishes in a dishwasher or with a brush. Not that practical when the fuller is this sharp in the edges. And a logo here, some say they see, if I can go a bit closer, some say they see some resemblance to logos we are not perhaps that fond of, but well, I don't see it, and I think it's a Chinese thing anyway. Moving on to the handle, we can stay up here. We can see the pivot screw, the backside of the pivot screw with a proprietary screw, which is always a bad thing. These screws can be opened with a straight edge screwdriver, and a bit of you have to take care a little bit, and you could even put it in a cloth or something when you twist it, so that you don't scratch the screw. It's a nice blue color. And then of course the other hardware screws further down, which are Torx 6, and the whole handle is made of G10, and then it has an oval lanyard hole back here at a very broad handle. That surprised me a bit when I got it in hand. This is really big in hand, and of course it is a big and heavy knife, but still If we turn it around, we have a rather deep pop-up carry pocket clip, and I have to give them credit for putting in very much room for your trouser seam. There's a lot of room underneath this clip. It is one of my favorite brands in nearly all my videos, but here, no problem. This is a clip that takes a ton of material, which is a beautiful thing. And same design as on the other side, and this unfortunate proprietary pivot screw, never a good thing. Forgot to mention the sharpening choil, which is nice and gives you a lot of room for sharpening, and the flat grind. And although this is about 3.8 millimeters thick at the stock, it is actually a very thin behind the edge knife, which is a good thing. It is a good slicer, and I even tried it with for food prep. It doesn't break anything. It cuts or split, or what do you call it? If it's too bright, it cuts. It doesn't split. I want to focus your attention on this strange feature up here. And normally on almost all other knives would be some jimping here. Instead they chose to put this strange thing, which is actually I don't know if you could call it sharpened. It's made smaller, so it actually creates a nice hotspot for your thumb when you choke up or hold it like this. And I really don't get that. I am most inclined to grind this thing off. I don't really know what they thought of when they did this. It is a very strange thing in my opinion, and you can of course use it as a ramp, which hold your thumb before it, but as soon as you get up on it, it just pushes down at your thumb and is rather uncomfortable. Speaking of comfortable, a very nicely ergonomic knife. It sits very nice in hand, except of course for this again. Feel it immediately, and it sits very nice in hand if you use it normal grip, and reverse grip also very nice, and draw cut also rather good. So ergonomically speaking, it's a very nice knife, except for this thing I really don't get it. And the action is extremely nice. As you can see, it drops shot, it fires with authority, and the flipper tab it has no jimping at all, and it can be a bit slippery, so you can actually do, of course it works this time, but you can actually your finger can actually slip so that you misfire, you could say. But of course if you do it intentionally, no problem, and the action is amazing. Very smooth knife, of course, on ball bearings, and I even think it's ceramic due to these screws. I haven't taken it apart yet, but I know I can do it with a straight edge screwdriver. Just haven't had the urge yet, because no need. It is very well smooth, and it fires quite well. Let's do some quick size comparisons. We have the Ontario Red 1, and as we can see, these are more or less in the same size. A bit of trouble with the perspective on this camera. They are more or less same size, but the Littoral here is just a little bit larger actually. And let's take the Kershaw injection 3.5, and as you can see, 3.5 inch blade, and this is of course over 4 inch or or 9 centimeters. It is 9 centimeters. So large knife, and if you compare the handles, you can see that it is also a rather broad handle. A lot of fills your hand really, really well. So if you're, I think overall, if you're into a knife that is big and not that pricey, I think it's about $70, something like that. Well, this is not a bad choice. I have to tell you, talk about this once again. This is not a good thing, and that's about the worst thing I can think about on this knife. But yeah, ergonomically speaking, that's a disaster, but otherwise a very, very nice knife indeed. So definitely recommend it, and as a collector I think it's a very fun knife to have in my collection, little bit different. I promised in the beginning to talk a little bit about what I would do in the near future, and the near future is that I go on vacation on Monday, and then I have a few, surprise, surprise, a few knives I want to show you, and the new knives that I haven't reviewed yet. I have been held back a little bit about because of my teeth and all that, but we have something like the Best Tech Rhino, which should have a review soon. We have the Best Tech Zen, really fun little knife. We have the V605. I'm having a bit of trouble with this because it was a Grail, but it has its issues. But that's another one coming up. The the CRKT Pilar. Real Steel Thor Special Edition. Best Tech Scimitar. And the Kaiser Flashbang. That's some of the upcoming content, and I hope you will stay around for that. As I said, from Monday I'll be away for about a week, but then I'll be back again in full blow, and I hope you'll still be around. In the meantime, you might put in the comments what would you like to see first of all this. That would be interesting. And don't hold back, just tell me. Maybe you don't want to see any of it, and you could tell me that as well. Oh, I forgot one. What about this Kershaw Cryo 2? Definitely not a new knife, but I want to do a review of it because I got it as a present from my friend Stefan on the EDC Austria channel, so definitely worth a review. So I actually have a lot of work in front of me, but as I said, comment and tell me what would you like to see first. Okay, have a nice week. Bye bye.